Oh, what an entry. What an entry. The computer just restarted. We are going live right over here now. You know what? It was such the music was so beautiful this morning. The music was so important this morning over here. I didn't want to cut that out. I hope it's in the published session as we get going over here. Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. What's going on? This is Jordan with Conquer Trading and Investing, getting ready now for our live session. And what an important one is the season premiere. What a way to make that fluidity, that smoothness on the season premiere. But this is what it is, and this is what we do. 53,441 Bitcoin. What's going on over here? Bitcoin coming out of the correction. If you're looking and watching, right? And then you saw it over here. We're just looking at it. First time in 11 days that Bitcoin has gone ahead and made a high. Oh no. Oh no. Everything was prepared for you with such love, such precision. And now look where we are. You know what? You got to adapt. And that's what we're going to do over here. This is the first day in 11 days that Bitcoin has made a higher high on the daily time frame, giving you the entry back into fully position on Bitcoin. If you were watching the price and what was going on over here, if you read Reminiscences of a Stock Operator, the story of Jesse Livermore, as you're watching over here, Bitcoin taking out the low, 47,500. It taking out the low, but it doesn't hold. It just spikes below, takes out some stops over here, and then over the next couple of hours, this is where price really picks up. If you're paying attention and you're reading the tape, you're saying to yourself, what's going on? But you already know the plan. You already know the plan. The entry, right, is the breakout of the trend line and coinciding with the higher high on the daily time frame. $50,500 back fully positioned into Bitcoin. But if you were really watching the tape, right, knowing where that entry is, 50,500, and then as you're watching price come up, as you get over 49,000, as you're between 49,500 and into the whole number of 50,000, you know what is coming. You know what is coming if you are taking that entry, just as long as you know where the entry is. The entry is the higher high, but some of you I know were able to see what's going on and just get into that beautiful entry. Fully positioned now. What's next? What's next? How do we get here? We gotta clean that up over here. What is next? Right? We're looking for that sharp V recovery. Right? We all knew that going in. What we were looking at it happen next. Let's take a look across and see what's going on, because Alan's got it when he says, what's next? When will Bitcoin make the parabolic move? We've been setting that up. We've been setting all of this up as it unfolds so that we're ready for it. When I say that Bitcoin is cheap at $55,000, I mean that Bitcoin is cheap. That for us, it's a question of when we make that recovery into the all-time high, the area of $65,000, and then move on. The parabolic move begins here. We're witnessing it right now. All right, let's take a look. There's a lot to talk about over here. The fear, right? Conquering the markets all day long. As people are so fearful, you can see these points over here, 1, 2, and 3. The last 3 corrections we've just had, either you're trading strategy number 2 on 3 ways to trade the Bitcoin bull market, scaling in to each one of these pullbacks. Or if you're trading this lightly leveraged, you're scaling back and then back in. You're scaling back on your leverage and then back in, leaning into it. And as you get back, fully positioned, as you're back here fully positioned, you're waiting now. Are we talking about when you're going to be fully positioned and more? I can't be yet. I'm fully positioned down over here. As we start making that all-time high, 65,000, I will be fully positioned and more as we get towards the top, because I know what comes after that as the parabolic move has begun. Right? Now, some other people are the way that they approach this is a little different than myself. They look at we had off of this pullback, it took 3 days for an 80%, a 79% recovery. And then after that, it took 6 days for a 67% recovery. Is it going to take us another 6 days for a 67? I look at this and I say, it was a 100% recovery. It was a 100% recovery. How long until my next 100% recovery, $65,000? And what happens next from there? Are we going to have another pullback? Or is the parabolic move begun? And once we make the all-time high out of the V recovery, are we looking at a melt your face off, rip your face off move on Bitcoin? Are we looking at something, this is how I do it. Let me show you how I do it though. You all know how I do it. Let me come back to 2017 when we're looking at that last pullback that we're currently in. I look at it and I say to myself, well, you know what? It took 4 days last time for price to come into that all-time high. It didn't make a new all-time high, but it took 4 days. That was a sharp V recovery. And then after that, it took 20 days for price to make that new all-time high. And then it entered that rip your face off move, right? But the rip your face off move didn't start 20 days as price made the new all-time high. It started down here. It started on that first repair, that trend line break, setting off the move, down at 22,000, not all the way up at 2,200, excuse me, not at 29, not at 3,000, right? So that's what I'm looking at and looking for, fully positioned now. I'll be fully positioned in more as we break to the all-time high. That's when I'll be fully positioned in more, because from here, then I'm looking at that big move. Now, where it takes us, we'll be talking about that in just a little bit. Not only will we be talking about where it takes us, we'll be talking about what's next. Now, this was a 50% move off the all-time high. Bitcoin going from 3,000 in about 26 days to call it $5,000, and then having a massive pullback, a 40% pullback, taking you to where that breakout was. In today's terms, that would be price breaking above $65,000 over the next, month, having a 50% return, taking you somewhere towards $100,000. By the way, if you're paying attention, you know what we're looking at, right? I said by the end of June, because I said this in January. It's in June, right? I shouldn't have said the end of June. It's going to be towards the beginning of the June, in my opinion. We'll see what happens, right? So when we talk about, Bitcoin being cheap at $55,000, I think that if you don't understand that, if you're not able to, if you haven't yet set your mindset to understand the type of numbers that we're going to be looking at going forward, then I think that it's going to prevent you from actually maximizing and capitalizing on what you should be doing here during this bull market. All right. So does that mean what happened? But Jordan, I never got into the trade. What do I do next? I'm okay. Wait. So we know that from here, like we're looking for a V-shaped recovery. And then from there, as we make the new all-time high, to put another leg up on Bitcoin, a big leg up, maybe even taking us towards 100,000. Now we know where our targets are, between 77,000 and 81,000. And we'll be looking at those more closely in the sessions ahead. There's no question. We'll be watching the price action. We'll be playing out the next two most significant places in Bitcoin during this bull market phase, leading up here to our exit at the top. We'll be hyper focused on it as we have from the beginning. And the reason that it gets so much of our attention, I mean, this morning the markets aren't doing anything. Equity markets are unchanged. The DXY is basically, slightly positive. And gold and silver, they're doing nothing, right? But focusing over here and making sure as price comes off, 20%, whatever it is, I don't even know what it came off, 25%, that we're here dialed in, 27%, shook a lot of people. That fear index was pretty high, right? There's no one that watches this program, right? By the way, and if you do watch this program regularly, if you're riding here laser focused, the 4-year cycle, go ahead and smash the like button over here on this Monday, and let's get going here. This is episode 1, season 1. Elias pointed out a few weeks ago that if we were to go ahead and number the episode, it would make it easier. We have lots of love being shared, people subtitling the episodes. You can go back and you're like, it was in season 1, episode 7, where Jordan said this, this, and this. And then we have this beautiful resource for all of us. So, Bitcoin, 53,000. What's next? I didn't take the entry. I just didn't. You know what, Jordan? I just wasn't a believer. I didn't get it. What do I do now? How do I get it? Bitcoin's trading at $53,380. What do you do now expecting this V-type quick recovery? right? Does that mean that there's not going to be fluctuations up and down within it? No. Do we think that Bitcoin is going back down and testing that low of the V? Do you think there's still a possibility that Bitcoin will take out the 46? Do you think Bitcoin trades under $47,000 again? Yeah, it's certainly a possibility. By the way, pointed out to you, last week, or even before that, we have options expiring this Friday, on signal, into the pullback, already looking ahead and when that happens. Is it possible between now and Friday we take out that low? Or do you think that into the options expirations, we continue this V shape, that we expected? Is this a V shape taking place so far? Well, yeah, well, sure it is. There's no question about that. Do you expect that to continue? Looking that it could take 4 days to the all-time high, or it could take 20 days. Depending on how you look at it, in the last, that's what we looked at over here. It was 4 days to almost make the new all-time high, but it took 20 days to actually make the new all-time high. Is it going to be after Friday options expiring that we go ahead and take off? Possibly, it's out there, but look, to not be fully positioned right now, in my opinion, then you're just doing it wrong. This is where the parabolic move begins. It doesn't begin all the way up at the top when you get to 65,000. At $65,000, I want to be fully positioned and more riding that hot at this particular place in cycle, knowing that that we're looking at very quickly unloading as we make that V-shaped recovery all-time high to a next leg up on Bitcoin. Now, whether it resembles something going back to 2013 or closer to 2017, it has continued to printed pretty much in between both of those cycles. So that's what we continue to look for. Being that behavior repeatedly plays out continuously, instead of looking for that behavior to end, as long as it continues, that's the train that we're riding. That's the path that we've been following. That's the path that we continue to follow, taking us out over here to our exit. When I say is $47,000 the last time we ever see Bitcoin, and that 55,000 Bitcoin is cheap, I don't know that I don't know that the bear market low is lower than where we're trading at right now, but I do think that it's around it. When we look at Bitcoin trading at $53,000, $47,000 low, do I think the coming bear market we trade below this? It's possible. I don't think so, actually. I don't think we trade below this, actually. We'll know later on. But, anywhere in this area, for sure, this could be the bear market low. Bitcoin is very cheap when we look at what we expect to unfold over the next 150 days, which is less now. It's a countdown. So maybe it's like 145 days. If Greg set off the countdown, I believe season 1, we have to check the math on this, episode 1 is approximately 98 more episodes, Monday through Friday, 9 o'clock a.m. Eastern time, before we're exiting, over here at the top of the bull market. It's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. We've certainly done the work to get ourselves over here, and we're going to continue to thrive as we ride the bull of all bulls over here. Did you see Alan's thread over here? I retweeted this, the last thing I retweeted this morning. If you missed it, Alan talking about how the market has cleared out, how we've seen funding rates reset, and really good stuff. As always, Alan delivering that clarity. Beautiful, beautiful work. Grateful for everything that you do, Alan. I want to make sure here he's talking about the fear index. It was down to really fearful 31 as we look at this clarity Alan has. Anyway, really appreciative of your work. Big shout out, brother, on that. If you're trading Ethereum during those last 11 days, let's take a look at Ethereum. This is really some tough stuff over here. If you're trading Ethereum over those last 11 days when Bitcoin has, pulled back without making a higher high, right? Just a clean, sharp pullback, finally making it above the trend line over there and coming out of it nicely. Ethereum during that period, that's going back around to the 14th of April, right over here. It had just come off a 30% gain to the upside. Ethereum, had just after breaking out the entry that we set up together, then, Ethereum from the 7th of April into the 15th in 1 week, makes a 30% gain, and then has a quick 23% correction, followed by another 30% gain, and then a 15% correction. I mean, that thing is wild. That's wild. How many people, lost money in, over leveraged on Ethereum over here, on a very clean trade. If you don't have the focus that we have, understand where we are in the cycle down to the day, I could see that this all would be very confusing. And a lot of people might wind up losing a lot of money instead of just going back to strategy number 1, 3 ways to trade the Bitcoin bull market, and make sure that you understand the bull phase and are holding from the beginning and selling at the end. No funny business. For many people, that's the best way to approach it. Over here, we have 3 ways to trade Bitcoin, the ultimate guide to profit from Bitcoin's bull market. It's on the Bitcoin playlist. You could find it over there. And, the whole way through, I'm looking at this chart over here. By the way, this is October 31st, right? And we were looking how quickly we would go to the new all-time high, right? And we were looking at the past cycles. It took 23 days over there. This time it took 29 days. We knew within 30 days we were going to be printing that new, again, always right on time, always with that beautiful, beautiful focus. But this was the best way to trade it for a lot of people. It's just holding. And then we have strategy number 2, advanced, the bet, great way to do it. Every single one of you is capable of doing it. Every single one of the best way to trade the Bitcoin bull market without a question. Translate it over to Ethereum, translate it over into any other altcoin you want. We've talked about the exit on altcoins, how it is after the exit on Bitcoin. Watch the exit on Bitcoin first, and then we'll be looking at the exit on altcoins. But that's tough. There's some tough stuff. 30%, 20%, 30%, 20%, or 15%. That's math. That's Ethereum here bucking. It's a young bull. It's a young bull full of energy. Huge price appreciation happening over here. That thing is bucking. If you don't know what's going on, you're going to get wrecked out there. You're going to get wrecked over there. Yeah, listen, this is why we do what we do each and every day. I was watching over the weekend, by the way, a ton of money being transferred, and if you saw also on the whale alerts, saw a massive amount of money tether coming into the market. And at the same time, you kept seeing Bitcoin being taken off exchange, being sent to cold wallets, right? Why that fear index was up for a lot of people, I don't know about you, but I was never more bullish, and made sure that I kept everyone into the game, because it's so important. It's just so important. And people are they're so confused. All the noise, and there's so much noise taking away your attention, distracting you, and it keeps you away from having those horse blinders on. It really keeps you from focusing on what's important, so you have the clarity that it takes to ride the bull of all bulls. There's nothing easy about it. And as you walk away here on your exit, and you've accomplished some legendary things, understand that you earn that the whole way in, you've put in all that work. You've changed your time preference. You learn to understand things for yourself, giving yourself the conviction to be able to take the trade and understand the trade. Well, what else is going on, my friends and family, here today, this morning? I saw this also taking place in the Discord. This was on the scalping channel. And, Wes was like, look, could anyone review this trade? I just want to see where Bradley jumping in over there, helping breaking it down, helping Wes see something beautiful. Just beautiful. This is why I built the community that we share together over here. I mean, this is traders helping traders. The information that takes place within the Discord portion of the community on all levels is just extraordinary. And I'm grateful for each and every one of you. So let's just make sure that we remember, right? Conquering the markets to the core, conquering the markets all day long, working together to build each other up, to make each other better people, right? The investing part's easy. It really is. We got that. Crushing it. We have the tax channel, right? Everyone understands that you look and it's what a joy to pay taxes because you're making money in the markets, right? That's what it's all about, right? It's all about that mindset, having I don't want to pay taxes, so I'm not going to make money. That seems really self-defeating. I don't really understand that type of stuff, right? So that's right, Alan. This is Alan's right on cycle here right now. The hard work has been done. Now you get to enjoy this one. Now you get to enjoy this back over here, fully positioned. If you're not fully positioned, what do? Do we think we run into some resistance coming up in this area over here? Do we have to worry about Friday's options, or are we in the clear? If you ask me a week from now, we're trading higher. But I told you that last week as well. I told you exactly where I felt we were, what to watch out for on the risk on the downside. But the next print on the halving tracker should see a V taking place. We have put in the bottom of the V. Whether or not we continue towards that 65,000 in a matter of days or, a week from now, it looks pretty clearly that's where we're headed. As we make that new all-time high, I want to be fully positioned and more. At that point, I want to be fully positioned and more, getting ready for perhaps, something like a 40-50% move up there happening and unfolding within a period of a few weeks. I want to be participating in that, and then we'll have to watch more closely what happens next. We'll look at how many days we're expecting that pullback, what type of pullback it should be, or whether or not watching the price action as it unfolds. Do we then morph more towards the 2013 bull market, and we just see price appreciating almost in a level that's like, I wish I could find the chart for you on one click. There it is right there. And are we going to be coming out of this going vertical straight up? By the way, this is a vertical move. That's a 50% move in 26 days. It might not look vertical with this chart on the scale, but if you're looking at an asset moving up 50% in just 26 days, as that's happening in real time, price is going to be seeming like it's shooting straight up. Here it is right there. Let me show you. Like, if you're watching this happen and then you see in all of a sudden 26 days, price just continues shooting up. By the time it hit 4,000, you're like, wow, that's come pretty far, pretty fast. It just keeps going, and it's not easy to trade. It's not easy to trade at all. That's why we're going to be so focused together on the exit from the top of the cycle here, the cycle peak on this exit over here. We're going to be working out in specific training sessions what exactly the best way. You have to know in advance. If you know in advance, it's like you have the blueprint, and then like as it unfolds, you're able to make these really like just boom decisions, boom, boom, boom. I already know what I'm doing ahead of time. If you're there in real time and all, that's why the fear index is so low. People haven't done the homework, right? And then as the price is dropping, all of a sudden they get fearful, really, really fearful. We're waiting and watching for that repair, stalking it like a cat, just waiting, and then when it comes, jumping on it. Having that foresight too, that all right, well, what we perceive happens next is that V-shaped recovery, right? Whether it's 3 days whether it's 4 days or a week, either which way, that's where my eyes are next. That's what's happening as we get there, however long it takes. Well, then I'll be looked to go from fully positioned now at the bottom of the move, and then get fully positioned and more over here to be able to take advantage. If I could be fully positioned and more right now, I would. That's not how risk works. I can't do that. So I'm not, right? And there we go. There it is right there, Phil, right? The Swedish chef, thank you, changing lives around the world. That was the whole purpose of getting together with all of you, spending our time each and every day and working together to do, extraordinary things, like generational wealth type things, So, changing lives around the world is because of all of you and all of us. And there you go, John. We have that plan, right? We have the map, right? We're able to work it out together. And, listen, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Yeah, Alex, this is a wonderful question that you're asking now, because you're asking this question ahead of time. I could go ahead and but this was beautiful work, right? 238 likes on Twitter over there. Just giving everyone that perspective. It's been 11 days without a higher high on Bitcoin, right? The higher high on a daily time frame is coinciding with the signal of the trend line break, getting you prepared in real time as it's occurring. If you have, by the way, your eyes on the exit right now and you're asking what should you move into, right? This is where we excel. You have to, if you're not part of the training program, if you're not part of the CTM community, following us and working with us on Discord, you have to do that right now. In the description of this video is a link to my course and training program. It costs next to nothing and it's an extraordinary resource. But once a week we do training sessions. You have the a possibility to watch each and every one of them and then either join us live each week as we have them. By the way, I was even thinking of having one today. I'm thinking it's going to be tomorrow. I'll let you know in the announcements channel in Discord, and then I'll also be sending out an email. But we've done that work, and we continue to do that work of what assets, when, why, 3 different strategies for the bear market. You hear that, the 3 ways to trade the Bitcoin bull market over here. And this was the master blueprint for everybody out there. Very few saw this. We have almost 35,000 views. Very few people saw it out there. By the way, what happens now, and that's what you have to do though. If you're interested, you have to follow that. You have to see the 3 strategies for the bear market so you know the best way, so you're thinking about it. I mean, this gets people watch a training session and then spend the rest of the day thinking about what we did and or watching it again. That's where you want to have your thoughts, right? You want to be CTM laser focused, right? It's the investment is the most worthwhile thing in my opinion, that you could do. So hope to see you there and be working with you there doing that. What happens now though, that so many people are watching this. So many people right now are understanding, wait a second, this is uncanny. I could see it now. Like, yeah, clearly we've been lining this is what we've done from the beginning together, right? We've been boom, 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 boom. But now you're seeing more and more people. That's good. First of all, one thing, understand and get yourself to understand that $55,000 Bitcoin is cheap. If you do not understand that, you are not prepared for what is going to unfold next and what is going to happen. Over the next 5 months, we're going to see price appreciate to some ridiculous levels. So if you think over here, if you think that Bitcoin has come pretty far pretty quickly over the past year, and you remember as between 7,000 and 8,000 when I started getting people really positioned in, but that was before we had the crash down to 3,800, right? And then working with everyone, the repair, building back in, and then as we broke that trend line, saying from next step from here is going to be the bull market beginning, and then all of a sudden you're like, well, I'm doing really well. Bitcoin is not cheap. I think it's kind of expensive now. I think that you really need to sit down with yourself and make sure that you get that proper perspective going as we continue toward right now beginning. Watch the videos every day, the titles, watch the parabolic move now beginning, right? And that doesn't begin as we get up there from, as we make this move from the low of the V towards that next peak over here, the low of the V towards that next peak, the lower of the V towards that next peak over here, right? It begins now. And we set that up and then we did wind up having a shakeout. Massive shakeout just took place. Alan showed us how the markets are now neutral again, how the markets have reset, both on the short side and long side. You saw shorts also getting cleared out pretty quickly as well. It's now once again a healthy market getting ready for that next move up. Alan, I always appreciate your analysis. Same here. Grateful for it. Thank you for doing what you do and making sure that everyone has that clarity needed here. And this is my clarity right now. I knew where we were as we're there, watching now for that V-shaped recovery. Whether, again, I don't care if it's, before Friday and the option's expiring or if it's after, or if maybe Friday brings a little or Thursday brings a little volatility to. It's all opportunity over here. If you're not positioned in yet, do I think 54,000 Bitcoin is cheap? Again, it's been a a repeated comment throughout this episode that 55,000 is cheap. 55. You want to be positioned in at the bottom of the move. If this is the bottom of the move, this is where you want to be positioned in. You don't want to get positioned in up here. You probably want to be fully positioned in more up here. I know that I do. And I'm telling you that now so that you understand that you're not taking on excessive leverage down here. You're just fully positioned, right? Price could take out 47,000 again. It could go lower. We have a big event this week with options expiring on Friday. We generally see price moving down into that, right? You're not out of the woods yet. At the same time, we got the technical break. Back fully positioned. There were a couple. There was the masterful way, right? Out at 62,500 that Friday morning on that trend line break. That was also the lower low on the daily time frame. It's an easy entry, right? But then what happened over there? Or if you were out at 58,500, that was the level giving. If you're still fully positioned beyond that, you were wrong. 58,500, right? I myself set up a quick trend line break right over here, taking back a position on Bitcoin, making sure that I was fully positioned over here. It was 55,500, right? That wound up getting rejected. Back at 51,500, I would make sure that I was back out of that trade completely on the side, waiting and then lining it up back here, fully positioned, stronger than on the way up, knowing how to work that leverage. If you haven't seen the CTM training video, how to trade lightly leveraged, it's essential. It's essential. The work that we do together just continues to be so strong, making sure that we keep each other on the right side of the markets, having that clarity that's necessary here to continue riding this book, because there's nothing easy about it. There's nothing easy about it. I see comments popping up over the weekend saying, Jordan, thank you, because I would have sold my Bitcoin like the people around me had I not been following the work that we're doing here together. Thank you, Jordan. And look, the reason I say that is because it's a pleasure. It is an absolute honor. I can't wait to this next milestone to occur on CTM. Greg started that countdown. It's approximately 98 videos until we get to that cycle peak over there. And then, yes, we will be hyper-focused, not only on the exit, making sure that we're up to, we know the options of what we're positioning into, but we'll continue to work that out together and talk about that. Right, Cameron? Bitcoin came down with me as I wasn't feeling well. Absolutely, my pleasure, right? What about the retest of the bull flag? Ryden wants to get down, take a look at. So I don't know. I think I got rid of Alan's video over here. Let me go to my profile. Alan, I don't know that I see a bull flag. This is Alan has a bull flag over here, right? I'm not sure. Don't, if I'm wrong, I could be wrong. Follow his work. Look at his work. Is this a bull flag that you see over here in blue, in this light blue? If I go down to it, I'm not focused on a bull flag right now. I'm only focused on that trend line break. Right? It's the correction, the trend line break. I'm more focused now on what happens next, whether or not, do we come into that area of 55, 50, 57,000, pull back a little bit. I don't know. I'm not worried about that. My eye is 65,000, and then above. That's where I have my eyes next, because that's what happens breaking out of the correction. That's what we follow. If you look at silver and the same thing, did I think we were going to come into that resistance, perhaps have trouble with it? Here you have it at 2630. Yeah, but my eyes are not only on the all-time the yearly high on silver breaking out of this trend line. It's then, the all-time high at 50, right? So, how we get there and will it be clean or not? We were talking about the angles yesterday. On Friday together, and we were saying, well, this was a really steep correction. So when we do start correcting the other way, do we expect it's going to be as, how many days was this? This was 11 days, Jordan. Yeah. So is it going to be 11 days to the upside, where we make the new all-time high? Will that be a few, next Monday at Friday, the close of the expirations? Options expiring on the CME, is it possible then by Monday we're making it? Yeah, that's where we continue to put ourselves But that's how I am looking at it. I'm not looking for any smaller pattern to occur now, right? This is the trend line of the correction breakout. Next spot that my eyes focus on is the all-time high, and that's where I want to be fully positioned and more, because from there, and yeah, it could go like last time. Last time it just didn't make it, pulled down, and then like finally got above it. Maybe this time it takes out some triggers some stops over here of shorts and then corrects back down. I don't know. I keep it simple, broad strokes. I'm looking at taking out the all-time high next. What that does, I want to be fully positioned and more, because I believe that, we see a nice move off of that $65,000 area, taking us much higher and much quicker. It's the rip your face off move that we've been talking about, right? So that's what I'm expecting. A lot of people who are not positioned correctly right now, having to chase the price up later. Trying to clear that off, and I keep drawing it as I try to clear it up. There's one thing that we didn't do this session. Let's play some HeadSnack. Let's get this dropped over here.
Analyzing the charts, hitting projected targets within the margin. Find the flow, sip a matcha, and wait for the waves to come in with lobsters. The kind-hearted Jordan Fosters, working smarter, not harder to move the markers. On his way to conquer, trading and investing, drinking the coffee while reflecting on the blessing. The markets are not crashing, the prices might be slashing just to pretend they're in fashion.
Some really good stuff over here. Some really good stuff in the comments. Let me get back to it over here. And look, the halving tracker, right? This is our mission control. This has been our mission control. And this is what has kept us as laser focused as we are. It's saying that it uses scaled for these prices. I have no idea. I don't look at them. I don't, do I focus how many days after the halving? Yeah, that gives me a little bit of perspective. We all know that using, Ian done a lot of work with this. We did this in the Exiting Bitcoin series on the CTM live training sessions, showing how when price makes the new all-time high, taking out the previous cycle all-time high, lining that up gives you that. I have to line this up in my brain, right? We were talking about this occurring here and then occurring here. We have to line this up in our brain. That's how we've always done it. But I guess I just do things because that, as a trader, you have to adapt. This morning as we were going live over here, we had that like nonsense with the all the recording, streaming material and whatever. You just got to go with it and you just got to adapt. So that's what traders being all about. Either which way, we continue to line this up over here. I don't know what, the scaled. I don't follow what's going on with these numbers over here. I can't tell you. I use the charts, same thing when you look at plan B. I'm following the pretty colors. I'm not following his model. I'm just taking it. I wish I could draw and make pretty charts. That would be the best, but I don't have that Photoshop gift. If any of you do and are able to go ahead and, Ian tries in the Discord on Bitcoin for sure. He's been instrumental in getting our focus aligned with that, letting us see it happening on the chart itself. Anyway, we are tangent. We didn't make it to 1,000 likes. We almost did. Nevertheless, I'm going to play some honeymoon over here. There was nothing else really going on with the markets worth talking about, right? I mean, the equity markets, great. S&P, looking at another new all-time high over here. The Nasdaq, you could see a beautiful breakout out of that bull flag, put in the retest, looking to resume right out. We know all this stuff because it's what we do all the time, but they're not interesting right now. We're going to focus our attention on what's most important. And again, that's making sure that you're walking away from this bull market phase over here, achieving whatever it is you said that you set out to do. You have to make sure that's done. And then we're setting ourselves up here for the bear market ahead, right? And then out of that bear market into the, approximately 15 months to that next halving, we're going to have that cycle low, making sure that how we're doing it, it will just continue, rinse and repeat. And that's why we continue to stay on the right side across all these markets. But there's nothing for us to do today on this Monday. As Alan said, today's the type of day where you have some coffee, you have some matcha, because you put in the work. You put in the work ahead of time. DXY breaking down out of that bear flag, coming back into that resistance. Continues to be very weak over here ever since we got that breakdown, failed break out to the upside, circled right over here. Let me make sure that's right over there. Want to be able for when looking back at that, go anyway. Dollar under pressure. It's not doing anything. Gold and silver, we've been following the break. As the break happened, we looked at it and we told you the two entries, where they were, the stop loss, when and why. But we also were very clear, like we're not targeting here 26.32. We're not even targeting the yearly high, right? That's just what we're looking to happen next. We're going to be pushing our trade because the opportunity is here. And if it doesn't happen and then we get stopped out, that's fine, right? There's money being made elsewhere, and it's important. But anyway, here we are. Let's get some honey mood. If I could bring it up over here. We had the computer crash. Everything across the board is off. Let me try and bring it up though. Prepare for Taco Tuesday. That's awesome. Let's go. Let's pull this up. We're going with honey mood vocals on the way out over here. There we go. From our friend Ziv. How important was the music this morning? How important was the music this morning? Thank you, Peter. Thank you so much, Peter. Peter, look, always thank you to the moderators, the contributors, participants, each and every one of you. Thank you so much for Peter. What a beautiful photo. All right, I changed my profile picture to honor both my role model and your spirit. Lord, thank you, Peter, for that gift. The greatest gift I could have received today. Thank you for that love, and each and every one of you. Thank you for the love that makes this such an extraordinary experience. It is an honor to work together with all of you. Imagine the emotions that the markets brings out in people. The fact that we're able to do this together as friends, as brothers and sisters, and make sure that each and every one of us is there to thrive. That's what happens when I hear the music. That's the stuff that I think about when I hear the music. JD is asking what happened to Walmart buying Bitcoin. Not something ever brought up on this channel, right? But on this channel, we were more like, oh, Elon's flying to visit Larry in Hawaii. Tesla's going to be buying Bitcoin and putting it on their balance sheet. Larry sits on Tesla's board, but heard it here first. That's what we do over here. Always on signal. Always on signal, right? That was that Rakesh classic. I try my best. I really do. Thank you, Harry. Will. Yeah, we'll do it tomorrow. I want to be prepared. We'll do it tomorrow. Mario, too. By the way, Alan was bringing up, what could set off this next leg? Will it be an S&P 500 company announcing it? Will it be Walmart or anyone else? Or, I have no idea. Are we looking at another company in the S&P 500 announcing? Or are we looking at Square or anyone else, buying more? Those are the questions. We'll see. Thank you, Shane, each and every day, always being there to comment and help support myself, my outlook, and the channel as well. Really grateful for that. Thank you, Brooke. Thank you, Brooke, very much for that. It's all a gift, and gifts are meant to be shared. The reason that this is so special is not because of what I'm achieving for myself personally, right? What this Bitcoin bull market, the things that I set out to do for my family, right? Remember, it was back at Bitcoin, buy Bitcoin 9,000, half of my net worth fully positioned into Bitcoin. People didn't understand the trade back then. They understand it now. underpositioned, probably, not myself, feel good about it, but to be able to share it with all of you, to hear over and over again. My mom was just going for a walk with her friend, you know, my mom, 82 years old. And, you know, her friend is like, yeah, my grandson, he's just starting college. He watches Jordan's channel. He's positioned well. You know, the amount of lives that the work that we do here together, that this community has touched and affected, really helping people in this moment in time as we're watching the destruction of the dollar. What are you talking about, Jordan? The dollar being destroyed. Yeah, this central banking fractional reserve system that we have, which is diluting the purchasing power of the dollars as the Fed continues just to expand that monetary supply, adding over 30% of all dollars in creation just in the last 12 months. Yeah, it's important that we're out there together, focused in on what matters over here, making sure that we protect ourselves, our family, our children, and our future. You know, that's what's special, that we get to do that together. You know, so thank you for everyone, by the way, watching on the replay, who smashed the like button here at this episode over here. Made sure that as we film over here, season 1, episode 1, that we made it to that 1,000 likes. Lots of love being spread. The moderators are absolutely godsend. I'm so grateful for them. I'm so grateful for them, as I am each and every one of you. Right? So what else? I feel like we got to hear it again. I feel like we got to hear it again. And then we'll go out and it'll be a beautiful day. A matcha. We'll sit down and have a matcha together. Or better, an espresso. Best, an espresso followed by a matcha in conversation about the markets. And Barry, beautiful. Greetings to Germany. JC, gracias. Thank you, Eli. Thank you, Eli. You're new here. Thanks to Money Cat. Welcome. I'm so glad that you are here. It is so good that you are here. Keith putting out some beautiful content as well over the weekend, and on Friday I highlighted that over in the Discord. Loved it. Thank you, brother. Sugar Craig. Thank you, Peter. DeFi Ant. Mark, have a beautiful day, everybody. Tesla, Erno, Alan all over Tesla. Alan P on Twitter, over in the Discord. If you want to follow his work, he's been on the right side of that trade for a really long time. You know, listen, follow those who have a history of being right. Follow those who have a history of being right. You know, and then until they're not. But don't follow them blindly. Consult their opinion. Form your own. Make your own. Having the chart, having the cheat sheet, that's always the way to go. All right, everybody. Have a beautiful day. Thank you for everything. And may God bless you.